We Vomit Rainbows, episode 5.
Episode 5. And in this episode, we talk about things such as linebackers, clowns, and old men with younger women.
Yeah.
And cruises.
And we got a guest.
And we have a guest. We have our first guest ever.
Woo!
And that's Eric Victorino. So listen and enjoy. Can't believe it. We've made it to 5 so far.
Woo!
And this one's extremely special because we have our first guest host. Mm-hmm. And that is Eric Victorino.
Hi. Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I've been doing music for a long time, and I do art, and mostly just sit around and experience the world and comment on it when friends tell me stories I don't know about.
Perfect.
Perfect.
That works great. Well, I've got some stories to talk about.
Sweet.
Are we gonna dive right into it, man?
You know what?
I feel like you brought your A game, bro. Now that we got a guest, Doug is like he's got like his spear sharpened.
I feel like this time we have to be more professional than we normally are.
I know.
I think we got 69 or 70 views so far.
That's
so
awesome.
we're getting some traction.
That's awesome
On the interwebs. So
how many are you?
how many how many views?
How many of the views are yourself? Yeah.
That's true. That's very
69?
like at least 50 of those. Yeah. So we have 10 people out there that are really excited about this podcast.
You know, that's all you need, man. I mean, if you think about all the great movements in the world, they don't start with a shitload of people to get. It starts with just a handful, man, and then it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds.
And that's what Vomiting Rainbows is.
That's
it's
right.
a movement.
It's a movement, baby.
Or like a bowel movement, but like a movement.
Yeah, exactly.
And so we have stepped up in the podcast game. We have a true celebrity guest host.
Celebrity.
Yeah. Well, I mean, limousines. Your band's
You don't
enormous.
consider yourself a celebrity?
No.
No.
Not even when like things were going the best they'd ever gone in my life musically, because any like successful tour, you'd come home thinking you're the shit, you know, like, I mean, it's a weird thing to do for a living when people come and line up to shake your hand and tell you you're fucking awesome. And then you go home and you're picking up dog shit off the kitchen floor, doing dishes.
Yeah,
like,
eating top ramen. You're like, wait a second, what happened?
I mean, I'm glad I've never even gotten anywhere close to considering myself like anything more than like a lucky hobbyist.
And I think like most bands and stuff, I don't think there's not too many bands that be like, yeah, I'm a celebrity, like I'm big time, I'm something. I think most people are pretty humble when it comes to music and art, but at some point you have to cross over and like you just know, like Gwen Stefani knows she's a celebrity.
Yeah,
she knows that like anything she does is.
Can we all just stop talking about this, because our podcasters had no idea, our podcast listeners had no idea that Eric wasn't a celebrity. Now
Oh
we're all
God,
like,
yeah, you're right.
shutting it all down.
You know about dog shit.
Yeah, and we had like we were like so
Okay.
close. All right,
Okay.
all right, fine, whatever. All right, so we'll move forward.
Let's go forward with the assumption that everyone in the world knows who I am.
Well, do you guys know who the celebrity Bruce Miller is?
I do. I've heard about Bruce Miller. He's
Have
a
you?
49er football player.
Yeah, he's a 49 football player, and he
Was.
was
I don't know
as
anything about him.
okay. So this guy he was one of the top draft picks in 2011. And again, always fact check this podcast because I'm like right on it, especially with sports. But he went out partying on Sunday night, and he and some friends decided that they were going to go to your favorite part of town, Fisherman's Wharf.
Yeah, baby.
And they went to, I guess he decided that he wanted to, I don't know, crash in the city. But the Marriott, the Fisherman Wharf Marriott, was sold out.
Yeah.
So what would you do in that scenario?
I'd probably sleep in Joseph Conrad Square, which is actually a triangle.
Is it?
Yeah. There's like a bunch of benches there, and or this is the thing: if you're partying, you're going for it. a hotel room's almost like, I don't know, like you just take it to the streets and party till the sun comes up, right?
Just keep going.
Yeah, like just be like, if you're really going to party and have a night out, going to bed, like a hotel room is for other things, right? It's not like, well, I need a place to go to sleep and brush my teeth, and so the point is that
things worth paying for.
Exactly.
Right.
The point is that if you need a hotel room and you can't get one, you just do that stuff somewhere else. In a park or wherever.
Yeah. So
Again, we're talking about pooping.
Yes, I really got to go.
things like that. That's going to be our consistent theme. It's just toilet humor throughout the evening.
Okay.
Change the podcast to how to get back to poop and
How to get back to poop.
find a way.
Pooping rainbows.
Yeah.
Anyway, he decided what he was going to do is walk through the hotel, and then he knocked on someone's door. The guy who opened the door, he's about 70 years old. He told him, I'm sorry, you have the wrong room. And then the next reaction that Bruce Miller had was he punched him in the face.
Of course. Well, that's the natural response, right?
Yes,
Why wouldn't you punch him in the face?
Yeah.
First of all, who's opening the door when someone knocks on a hotel room? Don't they have people?
Housekeeping?
Yeah.
But it's like Marriott Hotel. It's a really nice hotel. Yeah. It's not like you're expecting. It's not like someplace in the Tenderloin where you don't know what's going to happen. And by the way, I love the Tenderloin, so let's not disparage it. But it's a hotel that you wouldn't think would be unusual for someone to. Yeah, you wouldn't think it was unusual that someone from maybe the service came up to your room and was like, "Hey, by the way, here's something."
Yeah.
Complimentary champagne.
I'll go there with this. Is this football player a black man?
No, he is not.
That's what I think the wrinkle in the story might have been, was maybe the old racist white guy
said something.
I
like
my
that.
door, you effing blah, blah.
Yeah.
No,
Bam.
he's the antithesis of that. He is a ginger.
Oh, wow.
Pale ginger.
I have no remarks.
Yeah. So
Oh, maybe that's what he said. What are you doing at my door, you ginger?
you're a ginger.
Yeah. You guys snapped. You got tired of it.
I think the redheaded community out there could snap.
Now, what is this guy saying? I mean, like, what's his excuse? Like, he was just wasted? Was he blackout drunk? I mean, to me, it's like, especially if you're like a young athlete, like, especially at a professional level, you're aware of like your physicalness. Like, you're aware of like damage you can do. Like, you make a living running into other massive people. So to often
you're a little 12-year-old punching a 70-year-old.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, like, my point is, like, if you hit someone, you can possibly kill them. And then you also have a gauge, I think, just as an adult of like, kind of like what an old person is. I mean, a 7-year-old guy, like, you can kind of tell, like, if I'm going to hit him,
it's going to be bad.
Yeah, like, exactly. So is this guy? Is he dead? Did he?
No, but he did. In his, I think his son was with him as well, who also had to go to the hospital. I'm not sure why, but
the guy's kid.
I don't think he assaulted the kid, but I mean, first of all, picture this guy. He's 6'1". He's 250 pounds.
Jesus.
Like, he's a linebacker.
Do they have a description of a 70-year-old?
No, they do
exactly.
not.
Because maybe he was like 6'4".
7'2".
Yeah. Well, I mean, I will show. I can show this to Eric. I can't show it to you, but this is the hotel footage of him just walking around after the event had occurred. So it doesn't look good. See, this is him.
Yeah, he's a very large man.
But he's like bleeding, and he's obviously sad about it.
Why is he bleeding?
I'm not sure. That's a very good question.
Maybe the 7-year-old guy kicked his ass too. Like, got a couple punches in.
Either that or something. Yeah, it's unclear what happened, but the police are still investigating. He is getting assault with a deadly weapon.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, in the circumstance, yeah, that makes sense.
Right. And
the deadly weapon is just him because of his massiveness and his macho. Like, he's just such like
he's trained to hurt people.
Yeah.
Right.
Body.
I'm guessing a linebacker's. That guy comes at you, it's like being hit by.
I played linebacker. Yeah.
Right.
It's like a physical, crazy. Like, the linebacker's job is to run full speed into the running back who's running full speed. Like, that's his job. And really, if you have a good defense, they basically are there to occupy the offensive blocker. So really, like, a linebacker should just be tackling all the time. I mean, that's what you do. You know what I mean?
Like using his powers for evil, like hitting 70-year-old men.
Yeah, which is kind of weird because you think, like, if he was a real, like, badass linebacker, he would just, like, ran through the door. He wouldn't even have, like, knocked. Yeah. Right? He would just be like, I need a room.
I think it's crazy that the guy, I mean, what's the minimum wage in the NFL? Like, he can afford
to go to another hotel.
Yeah, what a dick. Or he could have knocked on the door and said, hey, listen, man, I'm wasted, dude. Here's $5,000.
Don't these guys have managers or, like, people that handle stuff like bands do, like, where you can make a call and have something fixed?
They should. Right. I mean, it's my understanding that...
What's the guy's name from, what was the movie with
Mr. Wolf.
Yeah, Mr. Wolf. Yeah. Thank you.
Pulp Fiction.
I'm glad that he could pick that up through my...
But it's my understanding that there are guys like that in the NFL, like ex-cops and stuff, that basically handle your business. You know, like if you get in
Ray
trouble,
Donovan, obviously.
Yeah,
Ray Donovan makes
it's like Ballers.
Yeah, man. The Rock.
So he apparently suffered broken bones. They don't say exactly where, but I'm guessing if he got punched in the face, it's cheek or...
Jesus, man.
Yeah. He was taken immediately to the hospital, and then Miller was arrested. Get this, he was engaged last year.
And what is he still getting married? What happened?
No, he's not getting married anymore because he was arrested for domestic violence.
So this guy's,
he's off the team, I'm assuming.
Yeah, this is, Eric can see, but if you go to heavy.com, you can see a picture of this guy. And then I actually went to his girlfriend's site and her Instagram, and all of her photos of her with her new beau. So that could be...
Well, good for her.
Yeah. Do you think he still follows her feed, and that's like what set him off? He's like, look at that guy.
I don't think
he can't even bench press his own weight.
Something tells me if you're in the NFL, it was probably not, like very, very hard for him to find.
Yeah, it's weird when you think about the violence in the NFL and like acts like this, because it seems like it just happens more and more and more. And I mean, it's a violent world. I wonder if it's like, if you took all the NFL players, if kind of population-wise, it statistically would match the greater, area of society or whatever. But it's just like these dudes are odd. Like, you just expect more because they're professional athletes.
I think what happened...
They're probably more violent because that's just their daily activity.
Yeah.
And they get rewarded for it. So, I would assume that.
But what I also think happened is Mr. Wolf got fired, the guy who's Mr. Wolf for the NFL, or found a new job. Yeah. Because I've heard more and more these stories that were getting swept under the rug before.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine dealing with these guys? Like, it'd be like it would be horrible. You're just like, dude, really? Like, can't you just like be like a clean cut dude and like, like get on a Wheaties box? You got to be like...
They're huge, rich babies that will punch you in the face.
Yeah. And I mean, I know some of these dudes. Like, I remember I worked for the Raiders, and there was a guy. He was like their number one draft pick, this linebacker, Rolando McClain.
Okay.
And literally, I was like, oh man, I want to interview him, and they're like, yeah, you can't talk to that guy. Like, you can't interview him, because the dude like was so hood that he just never talked to any normal people. Right. He was just like, football, go back to his hood, and that was it. That's the only world he knew. You can't even talk to the guy, and he got fired because he took a gun and shot it next to some guy's head, and like crazy stuff. But I mean, it just happens over and over again with the physical assaults of these meatheads, and something's got to be done, man. Be fine. What do you do? I mean, who hits a 70-year-old dude?
Maybe it has to do with the concussions and stuff. Maybe it's all tied together.
He doesn't even know what's going on.
Yeah, he has no idea. Well, apparently, obviously, he had been drinking. They'd been hitting Fisherman's Wharf and just got polluted. But at some point, he posted an Instagram photo where none of his friends had beers, and it said, "Sundays are for the boys." And then there's some great comments after that on Instagram, like, "Whoa, Mondays are for jail."
Oh man, that sucks, dude. I just, anytime I hear a story like that, I just personalize, like, my dad's like in his 70s. He's an old dude, man, and I picture like us going on vacation in San Francisco and just having a good time, and then just like some 49er, like,
yeah,
it'd be crazy.
Yeah, just
I would go ballistic, dude. I mean, I would straight up.
That's probably why the son was
in the hospital. He probably took the TV set and just threw it at him.
Yeah, and obviously somebody assaulted him because if you see a video, there's like a surveillance video, and it shows him bleeding and walking around aimlessly. So this guy was just like, probably anybody who dealt with him was like, let's just get him away.
Has he issued like any statement, like I'm sorry? Or
no, he's been extremely quiet because I'm guessing he's probably been under arrest,
Eric,
and then his attorney probably came in and said, say nothing.
You're on tour, you're out of your mind, whatever reason, like you do something like this, right? I mean,
it's happened. I mean, I haven't punched a 70-year-old man, but I've, there'd be times when you get caught like pissing in an ashtray while you're waiting for the elevator because you think it's a toilet and you're just trashed, like stupid things like that. And yeah, there's usually a crew guy, like a drum tech, or there's a tour manager, or there's somebody around to kind of get you out of there.
Yeah.
Because if you do get arrested, there's no show the next day.
Yeah.
And sometimes even like the techs, I mean, I hate to say a good tech would kind of take the heat.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
Because there's still a show the next day if he can't show up.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I've seen a lot of, I wouldn't say I've done too much of that stuff.
Have you been arrested on tour?
No.
Okay.
No, but I did almost, I was wasted and I needed to get back into the club. And the guy wouldn't let me once, and that's all I really remember about it. I start yelling at this guy, he starts yelling at me, and the next thing I know, my tour manager, his name was Peter, and he was just the best ever. He tour manages Radiohead now.
Yeah.
That's how good he is. But he just popped up. It's like he came out of the fucking ground. Between me and this guy, diffused the situation, and then I was safe. And it's guys like that really do. When the road starts getting to you and you start drinking too much because you just want to go home, or whatever it might be, he should have had somebody taking care of him.
And I mean, if you did get arrested, say for doing something, whatever, I mean, even if you're not sorry, I mean, isn't that kind of the protocol? Like, like you just issue out the statement.
I don't know if it's so much in the music world as much, because I think people sort of expect that.
Yeah.
I really don't think that like families are I don't think they're holding bands up as people for their kids to look.
Yeah, that's okay. Depending on the band.
But for whatever reason, professional athletes, maybe it's the Wheaties effect.
Yeah.
Professional athletes are considered to be role models when it's like, why? They're plucked out of like shitty towns, given a whole bunch of money, and then say, go run fast.
Yeah.
Like, why is that guy a role model?
So you think that's kind of like an unrealistic, they're kind of held to an unrealistic standard?
I do. And now I think because of the internet, the way things, like that kind of stuff probably happened all the time, but the network news had bigger stories to cover.
It is kind of true, because like even if you think about like locally, like the Raiders of the 70s, right? Like that's all
those
you
guys
hear
were
about.
Scumbags.
Yeah, like all you hear about is those guys like going out, partying, doing cocaine, getting in bar fights.
They smoked on the football field.
Yeah, and then showing up on Sunday and winning games, and that kind, since they won, it became part of the folklore. But at the same time, if you really think about it, I mean, this kind of violence and behavior has been going on forever, I guess.
Well, but I think a lot of the fans embrace that kind of bad boy nature of the Raiders.
Do you think anyone right now is going out and buying a Bruce Miller jersey and going, yeah, man? Like,
no, but I just heard that Kaepernick's jersey is the highest selling one right now.
Oh, because of his protests and stuff?
Right.
So that's it kind of plays into the conversation of like, is he a role model?
Yeah.
Some people are looking at it as like, yeah, he kind of is. He's standing up for his beliefs, even though it's going to, probably destroy his career.
Yeah. And this guy just believes.
Is it going to destroy his career? I mean, didn't the president of our nation just issue a statement about him?
He ran the risk of throwing away all of his endorsements.
It could have been
for something he believes in, which I think is pretty awesome, regardless of how you feel.
So Bruce Miller was just taking a stand on like there needs to be more occupancy in the San Francisco. Like
there's got to be less 70-year-old men in his way.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's his cause.
There needs to be rooms available when I'm partying in San Francisco.
Hotel rooms.
Yeah.
Because I think he lives in
He probably could have just walked down the street and say, I'm a 49er, and someone would have been like, come party with us. You can
totally.
Right.
Yeah.
And he could say he's a golden god and jump in the swimming pool.
Exactly.
Or I think you mentioned this earlier, but isn't like Uber, don't they have like free accounts on Uber? He lives in the South Bay. He could have just hopped in an Uber, passed out, slept in the car, and woken up at home.
For the NFL, $1 million. I mean, the guy has money.
Yeah.
Could have done anything.
Yeah. I think it's a lot cheaper to hop in an Uber than.
Not only that, I mean, I know I'm older older than your average NFL football player, but if you're planning on going out with the boys, I mean, don't you make sure you have a hotel if that's in the thing?
Or you're going to crash in the city. You like crash at one of your friends in the city's place.
He's a Niner, right? Does he live in the Bay Area?
He's got to.
Yeah, he like lives in like Santa Clara or
Is he
something.
going to come find us?
Yeah, exactly. Hold on. Is he listening to us?
I don't think we have to worry about that.
That's the scary thing about a guy this big is he's a pro athlete. He could probably run. He could catch us.
Yeah.
Like we ran away, he could catch us. That's the scary thing.
He's listener number 69.
That's right.
He's
like,
right.
what?
Exactly. Well, that's why we always hang with Mike, because Mike was former linebacker.
Right.
So
Yeah, exactly.
It'll work in our favor. We'll just send Mike against him, and then we'll run.
Oh, yeah, no. I'll be running.
Hide behind him. I'm 4'11".
I'll be running.
Yeah, I think that goes back to our plan on if there's a gunman in an area, we just turtle.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, he was a 17th person arrested this year from the NFL.
The season hasn't even
17th
started.
player.
Yeah, season hasn't started.
Crazy.
So that's all year. So, yeah, it hadn't even started.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing they're in better form when they're on the field or when they're playing.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's the Wild West out there.
It is.
Glad I'm not in the NFL making millions of dollars.
Too, man. Those guys are the original, like, if you think about sports stars, like, Babe Ruth was laying pipe all over this country way before, like, Jimmy Page was doing it. Like,
Right.
True.
All right.
Sports guys have always been rock stars.
They've always been rock stars. Well, you ready for the next story?
I'm ready, Doug.
Are you? Are you ready? Okay, so have you heard of what's been going on in South Carolina?
What's been going on in South Carolina?
Anything.
So
They're still talking about the Civil War a lot? Like,
Yeah, you'd think it would be something with racism or something of that nature.
That's my assumption.
Yeah, nope. So there's been a unnerving uptick in clown sightings in South Carolina.
Oh, I
God,
heard
I
about
did.
this, dude. Yeah. This is
This
crazy.
has to have a tie-in to it, because it's coming out, right? And maybe there's actually... Tell the story, because this is so weird.
It's just really bizarre. I read a bunch of stories on this today, because the weird thing that they've seen is behind this. It's in South Carolina. There's a apartment complex that I think backs in on a park, and the clowns have been coming, like a group of clowns have been coming out with like green laser pointers and trying to lure children into like this area
With cash, right?
with cash and laser pointers, like green laser pointers. It's very it seems like a pedophile group is doing this, but I heard another expert talk on this, and they said this.
What kind of expert?
I know, dude.
Clown expert?
A clown pedophile expert, of course. Dude, we only go to the top sources for our podcast.
Talk to
what
an
did the
elephant
expert
and a
say?
Well,
ringleader.
this one, it was another website when I looked up trying to find out more about these crazy clowns that are going on. This one website said that, and maybe not an expert, but some guy said he thinks it's very unlikely that it's a pedophile, because pedophiles, A, don't like to ever be seen. They don't ever like to draw attention to themselves. And there are not, like, they don't do things this bizarre. Like, it's not something they usually do, and it's not groups of pedophiles, like clown pedophiles.
Have these clowns gotten any kids to go with them? I mean, like,
No,
okay,
none.
They're bad at what they do.
Yeah, they have been cited. It's mostly in this place in Greenville, South Carolina, and there's been 6 sightings of these posses of clowns.
Which is crazy, because that's a
very small town.
It's a small place, and these people probably know. Maybe they're dressing up because
they're known.
Maybe
in the town, like it's a small town, so it's like, oh, that's Larry over there, But then they get the clown makeup on. And
but don't you think you'd be able to tell? Like, if I put clown makeup on right now, wouldn't you know it was me? Like, you'd be like, dude, that's Mike. Like,
not from a distance.
Yeah, that's true.
And not if you're, creeping out of the woods.
Dude, if you had a wig, like a green wig on, and like a nose, and like
the red nose throws it all off. That's true.
They had blinking red noses, so that's.
I feel like this has to have this, like, some viral marketing element to it. Like, someone's behind this for like some.
Is the circus coming to town, Doug, in South Carolina? What is it?
I don't know, but there was a guy who the police were searching for in Ohio who was walking around with like a bouquet of black balloons and a clown.
I saw that.
Yeah.
It was creepy.
Yeah, but he was just he would just stand under lights with these balloons.
Yeah.
And that
I saw
guy
that.
But he was doing it for exactly what you're talking about. He was trying to get publicity for his movie, and he was doing something where the main character was like the sinister clown or something. But this doesn't sound like that.
Yeah, but see, I mean, the other thing too is like in small town. I lived in a small town in upstate New York when I was a kid, and it's like you don't need to be enticed to go into the forest because that's like where kids go anyway, right?
Right.
So why not just hide in the forest and wait till they go in there and then grab them? If you're, if you're really trying
advice to creepy clowns now.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I know exactly.
Hey guys.
To all you
Listen,
future.
but I remember going out into the forest. It was behind where we lived, and what I realized at a really young age is like weird shit happens in the forest because basically what would happen was.
Were you attacked by a creepy clown? In the
No, I
forest?
wasn't. But there would be like remnants of a bonfire with like logs. Like it was a hangout place and just a bunch of empty liquor. And then in a hollowed out log in Ziploc bags are all these old porno magazines.
Why? I've never. Okay, I kind of grew up in that time too, when you would find porn in the bushes.
Yeah.
Right.
But when you're a kid and you just pick it up because you don't think anything of it, you don't think this person was jacking off to this.
Yeah.
You also don't think you don't even wonder why it's there.
Yeah, you're just like, wow, look at those tits, or you're just fascinated. But I remember, like me and my brother were out there, like, oh my god, look, we found all those dirty magazines, and we just looked, and they were in like a plastic bag, like sealed. So when you get older, you realize like what was going on there. Like dudes went out in the forest with beer together, got drunk, and then would pull out magazines, and like that's like weird stuff goes down in the woods, man. That's just how it is. But what a weird scene, right? Like this is probably in the 70s. Like there wasn't the internet, there wasn't. So if a dude had got this import from Germany,
It's almost
bro,
like a support group.
Yeah.
Like,
Porn
perverts.
Yeah.
Not even perverts, just like regular ass people. Like now they would just be on Pornhub.
Yeah.
Like everyone else.
Yeah. But back then you had to like really work for it. You had to have like a creepy woods place to go to.
But there was also an element too when you were going around in the woods and you came across like some group of cans or something. You're like, ooh, like it was like treasure.
It's
like,
exciting.
Yeah, you were like, oh, something happened. Like something went
here.
down in the woods.
There were a bunch of dudes jerking it around a bonfire, man. This is awesome.
Imagine walking.
I never thought that.
Walk in on the actual event, not the aftermath.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh.
Maybe those clowns are trying to invite the kids to that.
Maybe.
But this was all happening around 2 a.m. So this is the other thing that's really weird is what were these kids doing out? Because there was like a 10 p.m. curfew for some reason in this town.
And what are they saying? Like when they say kids, they mean like teenagers or like
no children? I think.
What are they doing at 2 a.m.? Like,
I know,
like, dude. Like if your 6-year-old's wandering the woods at 2 a.m. I mean,
there's bigger problems.
Yeah.
Clowns in the woods.
But let me. This one statement was this woman Donna Arnold said her son reported seeing clowns by a basketball court, and she thought immediately my child is seeing things or something of that nature. But then the next day, 30 kids came up and were like, "Did you see the clown in the woods?"
Yikes!
Yeah, so it was.
Say maybe the kid's really good at basketball, and she just schooled all those guys and like.
In a clown costume?
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun.
So there's a trail that goes through these woods, and apparently the children have been talking about this for years, that there are clowns that live at a house at the end of the trail.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so the clowns coming out now have added credence to this clown
that's
story.
That's kind of cool. Yeah.
It's like
So
albinos on Hicks. Do you know that?
No.
Like
Do
San
tell.
Jose, like Hicks Road goes up into the hills, and there's local legend of like killer albinos, and like if you really start looking into it, there's some truth to it. I guess there was like some orphan house or something that had a whole bunch of albinos there, and they got like a bad rap in the town. But if you drive around there, it's fucking scary, dude.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's a weird area, and this is probably just like that, except like actual killer clowns.
Yeah, well, the police took credence to investigate because so many kids had said that there were clowns that lived at the house at the end of the trail. So the cops went out, checked out the house. There were no clowns there living in the house.
Well, what if there were? Like, what if there were? Then what? What are the cops going to do? Like,
Not against the law.
yeah, like I can dress up as a clown and hang out at my house and have all my friends come over and we can dress up like clowns.
Maybe these are like
Is that what you do? Please tell me yes. That would be. You're like, hey, Doug, come over, and I like come over, and it's just like you with like 8 of your buddies hanging out in clown costume.
Maybe this is like kids who grew up with that legend, and now decided like, hey, we're gonna scare the younger kids by being what we were afraid.
That's so the police have issued a statement that says if you are doing this as a practical joke, please know that there are going to be consequences for this. So they're like warning. Yeah, they're saying you need to stop this. One girl said she saw one of the clowns hanging out under a light by a dumpster, and she didn't know what to do, so she just waved to the clown. The clown waved back, and then she got the hell out of there.
Yeah, it's creepy, dude. That's creepy.
There's nothing,
weird that,
dude.
Like, it's like saying like these are mummies or something. Like clowns are universally despised.
So creepy.
They are. They are.
But they used to be funny. Like people used to love clowns for whatever reason.
Right.
John Wayne Gacy ruined it all, man.
Yeah. And what was that? Do you remember that movie where you popped the nose? It was a horror movie, and to kill the clowns. No, to kill the clowns, you popped the nose of the clown, and then they died.
Sounds like a bad video game.
It was so weird, but it creeped. It was like they were alien clowns.
Killer clowns from outer space.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I think that might have been what it was called.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Clowns.
Clowns.
Tomatoes.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my clown story for you.
Creepy, Doug.
That one was pretty creepy, but I was trying to do like a little bit like after last time we did the podcast, it was real.
Murderers Row.
It was Murderers Row. So this one I wanted to do like a little less.
We started off light with a 200-pound man punching a 70.
Yeah. Then we got to killer clowns.
You learn a lot about people, like with the stories they pick. You're like, really, Doug?
Keep us updated on what happens with the clowns.
I will let you know. So and then we're going to kind of end it on like a wonderful like side note, which is this two girls just go on vacation together. You know, they go from the UK to Australia for some fun. Take a bunch of photos, maybe 300 million in cocaine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So apparently these
Wait. They went on vacation to do a bunch of drugs? Or what do you...
They were smuggling it?
They were smuggling it to Australia. They weren't even at their final destination.
How much is 300 million?
How do you transport that?
Let me tell. I can tell you exactly how many it was. I think it was like 75 kilos of cocaine. No, 95 kilos of cocaine.
So how do you like just inconspicuously like try to carry that around? I mean, you know what I mean? That's a lot of drugs to carry.
I watched the video of them going through all of their bags.
Yeah.
And what it appears they did is they got on the boat in the UK. They still don't know exactly where they were from Canada. They got on the boat, I think, in the UK, and then they went to all these exotic destinations. It was like a 4 or 2 or 4 month. Yeah, it was a cruise. It was like Carnival, and they stopped in places like Colombia, you know, all these places that were notorious for.
So they were picking up drugs?
They think they were picking up drugs, putting it in their suitcase kind of along
Now,
the
these
way.
chicks, I mean, these can't be like the masterminds behind this.
Why not? That's very sexist of you to assume.
It sounds like they would. It just doesn't add up. Like $300 million worth of cocaine. Like they must either they've been dealing cocaine for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, there's this one girl.
Like that's not just like a 2-person operation. Is what I'm saying.
It's definitely,
It's not like me and you were going like, hey, bro, let's start selling cocaine and get on this cruise.
Let's get $30 million of cocaine from
million.
30. No, it was 30 million.
Oh, 30 million?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Still a lot of coke.
Yeah.
It's a lot of coke, and it's also not this. These two girls were like 22 and 28. It's not like, unless they were .com billionaires, they're not like rolling around with millions of dollars to buy cocaine.
Although maybe they saw some TV show, like they saw that movie Blow, and they're like, dude, we could do this, man.
Yeah, but how do you get it's not like you get this on loan.
They're chicks, man. I don't know. Chicks can do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, no. So
What they look like, if they're hot, then it kind of makes more sense.
Yeah, like a rich boyfriend. They're like, hey, can you let me?
No, I mean, like, because they could probably charm people along the way, and sort of like no one really fucks with them because.
Yeah, no.
Or what if they're like ruthless, man, and they just like went in, like you're saying, like kind of like meet drug dealers and like shoot the drug dealers and take their product. I mean,
See the movie rights.
I know this is getting interesting.
It is. So first off, they think they're two. So it was a 22-year-old, a 28-year-old, and a 63-year-old man.
Ooh.
All together, of which is really weird because on this whole tour, the press hasn't been able to get a single photo of the 63-year-old.
Maybe he's Kaiser Sose.
Well, or it could be Kaiser Sose. Or the other thing that they're saying is maybe this was an international operation. It involved Homeland Security. It involved the UK Defense.
Oh, and the 63-year-old guy was like an agent or something?
Maybe,
Double
or
agent.
he was somebody on the inside.
Is this really what we're doing? I mean,
They've been doing that for years, using like drugs as currency and stuff. I mean,
but
Yeah,
I
drugs
think
for
what they
guns.
were trying to do is bust this international syndicate.
and they're spinning it like it's just two girls.
Yeah.
Just got busted. And the very first thing you said was like, this doesn't add up.
Yeah, there's more to this story. I watched a lot of
This is a
Scooby
picture
Doo.
of the girl.
Holy shit.
Yeah, she's not unattractive.
Yeah. So
Mike, you don't get to see any of this.
What happened? What happens to them now? I mean, where do they get arrested at?
They got arrested in Australia, and the term for international drug smuggling is life. So they're all.
At least they picked a halfway decent country to be in. I mean,
Well, they have.
you got to get banished for life somewhere. Might as well be Australia.
Yeah, well, they're in Australia currently, but they have an option which they can get tried or serve the time in their country of origin, because we signed a treaty with Australia, and so did Canada, that says that if you're prosecuted for a crime, you can serve in your country of origin.
They'll probably just get disappeared.
Yeah.
Like they'll
give information.
They'll go on witness protection of whatever.
what's the background of these chicks? Like, I mean, are they just?
Is that the 22-year-old or the 28?
I think this is a 22-year-old. So this is the Melinda Roberge.
I'm with Eric. I mean, she has a story. I mean, look, when you're 22 years old and you're an international $30 million coke dealer, I mean, that's that's more than I was doing when I was 22.
She's a $30 million drug mule.
Yeah, okay.
Is really what she is. She's not. But the other thing is that her job before this was working at Pandora.
In Oakland?
No, you know what Pandora is? No, not like the music site. It's the little bracelets that like you can. I just know this because my sister gets them. They're like little charm bracelets.
What?
Yeah.
Wait. There's another Pandora that's not the music thing?
Yep.
How did they work that out?
Well, the bracelet people were probably around a lot.
They were around a lot longer before Pandora, though.
Coexistence. You don't stream music.
Yeah.
Right.
We won't make
Sell
bracelets.
bracelets.
Exactly. I don't think they can encroach on
Bracelet
manufacturing.
Huh.
Yeah, my old band got sued by Strata, the company that makes golf equipment. And we came to a coexistence agreement that we would never sell golf equipment, and they were still allowed to sell shirts and hats, but not music.
That's crazy.
But you were allowed to continue to sell shirts.
Yeah.
Did you ever put one with like a golf ball?
You're testing it.
Yeah.
You already got away with just the coexistence.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, if you go on this Andre's Facebook page, the 63-year-old,
Yeah.
he had posted an ad on Facebook that said wanted people.
Hot chicks to go cruise with me?
No,
Does that work?
No, it was something to the effect of a free international cruise contest if you were applying for one of his vacation rentals.
So you're telling me that these girls are claiming like, oh, we didn't know what was going on. We met Andre. He said we could stay at his place for free.
Maybe they didn't know anything. They just had to be kind of like his arm candy on the whole tour.
Yeah.
Just to kind of take the focus off of him.
You would think that until you looked in the bag of how they packed it. It was like a towel with like 30 kilograms of coke.
Yeah.
Just like
They didn't
in a
even
row.
have like a false back.
Not a false back, nothing. Like the dog hit on them. Like it said 3 rooms away from their room.
Maybe they.
So the dog could smell it.
Yeah, no attempt to come.
Well,
No.
So let's think about this. If it's that obvious, maybe this was like the setup bust while they were really smuggling like a shitload more like down the street
The
or
other
something.
30 million.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, one thing that
these were the fall guys, man.
It could be, but sorry, it wasn't Carnival. It was Princess Cruise. And the other thing that they're thinking is that because this is so well coordinated, that they thought that they weren't going to get busted because this had happened many times before, and they think that maybe Princess Cruise Line or an employee of Princess Cruise Line was in on it because they're going to many ports of call. They can get in. They don't usually have as strict of...
or maybe he's just like the drug dealer on board, and just needs a lot of cocaine because they're going on a long cruise. You know what I mean? Like,
cruises have to get boring at some point.
Yeah.
After 4 months on a ship, you need a little pep.
I mean, that's what but I'm saying like a cruise is kind of like, it's like a mini world on water. And so like, I'm sure like you go on a cruise and if you want cocaine, there's someone there that has some and can get you some. I mean...
And some hot girl to buy it off of.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so these girls were taking photos everywhere they went. And apparently they were aware of these people having the drugs on them, or were pretty sure. They were already flagged, so they were watching all of their posts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so as they were...
Did they post pictures of them with the cocaine?
No.
Okay.
You weren't that.
It wasn't that dumb. They just posted pictures of them having a great...
Just making it really easy to track them.
Very easy to track them. Exactly where they went, exactly what they were doing.
Snapchat filters.
Yeah, everything. So they are facing, as I said before, the life prison terms.
Where do you fall on this, Doug? I mean, are you going to like make like a free the sexy 2 cocaine chicks t-shirts? Like what? Are we taking a stance on this, dude? Are we going to try to free them?
I don't think we're trying to free them.
Are we standing by them? What are we doing?
We're not standing by them. These were really, it was a really bad, dumb, like really just terrible decision. They are young.
You think they should go to prison for life, though, just for like being 22 and just
I don't think anyone should go to prison for life for anything other than like
murder,
aggravated rape and murder.
Right.
But they're facing a life sentence, right?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Clearly, they're trying to make an example of them.
Yeah,
especially a 22-year-old go like for
no, a hot 22-year-old.
Like she's obviously,
if she was ugly, then
no, but she was probably taken advantage of. The fact that she's good looking probably it does add to the likelihood that she was taken advantage of.
Right.
Like, hey, you're really pretty. This is going to be a modeling gig. Just
right.
Convince her, and then once she's in on it, maybe all you have to do is say, if you rat on us, we'll kill you.
Yeah.
Like maybe
we'll throw you overboard.
Isn't really guilty of the whole thing.
It's possible that she got in over her head.
I don't think you should go to jail for life for that.
Yeah, if this guy, the 63-year-old, is taking advantage of 2 girls as drug mules, do I think they should get life? No, I don't think they should get life. About this guy who's using women to traffic drugs, I'm not going to feel too bad for him for going to jail for life. But
he could do 20 and come out when he's 83 and then get punched by a guy in a hotel room.
Yeah, exactly. You never know. So yeah, it's really weird.
I think Doug was just attracted to the story because of the pictures of the hot chicks. I'm sensing that was like the whole.
I didn't see the other one yet.
Yeah.
Now, here's the other one. This is the other one.
Yeah, they're both really. I mean, they're cute. So
they're cute, but the thing that's just absolutely nuts is this other guy has a Facebook page, and there are no photos of him anywhere on the internet. Like they cannot find a photo of him, and
he's 63 years old. I mean, my brother's like 44. He's like not on the internet.
If you're posting a thing saying, "Hey, hot girls wanted to travel with me," here's ass mug.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, but think of it this way: you're on a Carnival cruise or Princess cruise ship, and there are these 2 hot girls with this like older gentleman.
Guys living the dream.
You're probably going to get caught in a photo of 2.
There's cameras all over those boats.
On the front and back, and they were also following those as well.
And so they haven't caught this guy.
They have.
Oh,
Yeah. They're
okay.
all in. They're all
okay.
awaiting
no
jail.
pictures of
There's no
Yeah,
picture.
and like even in the perp walk type things, they don't have.
They don't.
photos.
Wait. Time out. You're telling me that even on the story you're reading, they don't have a picture of the guy?
None. They can't
That's why I
get.
think maybe he doesn't exist. Maybe it's a front for.
Some weirds going on, man.
Yeah, so that's what one of.
There's
the,
not even like a mugshot picture of the guy.
nothing.
That's ridiculous.
Nothing yet. Yeah,
Is it just because?
they do. They have picture and video of the coke.
That's crazy.
Is it just because people just want to look at the two chicks and they're trying to like sensationalize the story and they don't want to see the old guy?
Well, that's what the and one of the articles I read said, well, if this guy had been somewhat attractive, his photo would be out there.
We're the
But
only
because-
three people that want to see the old guy.
Yeah,
Hey, the old guy.
I was the only one that apparently was hunting for the old guy, and I was hunting for the old guy, and I came across a story that said, "Hey, where's the old guy? Like, how come
Other
there are
people are looking?
literally no pictures of the old guy?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So yeah, this is all going down right now.
I want to see Johnny Depp play the old guy.
Exactly.
The old guy.
It does sound like a movie, man. Definitely.
It definitely sounds like a movie. It's gonna be good. I think there's gonna be a lot of things that come out of this one.
All right. So what do we cover, Doug?
So far, what we covered is if you're a football player or dating a football player, be concerned.
Definitely.
Call an Uber.
Call an Uber. Definitely call an Uber. Or you're going out on the town with 3 of your buddies and drinking a lot. Get a hotel
Don't
room
leave
ahead of
porn in the
time.
woods.
Right. If you're in South Carolina, don't go near the woods. Or
Don't clown around.
don't clown around in South Carolina. And then obviously go on a cruise and take a bunch of coke.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that's how we're gonna vomit rainbows on this one. So I think we always have to end it with check out Eric's new band, which obviously you're doing under your own label. But what is your other?
The thing I'm working the most on right now is just a solo album, and it's on ericvictorino.com. You can pre-order it, and it's just a lo-fi, quirky little record.
And I just went to a show that he did on Friday, which was amazing.
Thank you.
It was really good.
And Eric, I gotta ask a couple questions, man. Hold on. So what is that? I mean, what's that as far as like going solo? Like, do you feel that comes with like some expectation or some type of you know what I'm talking about? Because like when you're in bands that have had success and then you go solo,
Yeah.
you feel like there's like
No, even just saying the word, like, that modesty thing we talked about earlier, where you don't, even if you are a successful celebrity, you don't act like it or say those words.
yeah.
I hate the word solo, like I'm going solo, but like the whole concept of it is just, you make music for your entire life and you're always collaborating with people. You're always compromising, or most of the time. Some bands are structured where like one guy just calls the shots and that's how.
Like Dave Grohl. Yeah.
And those bands last forever.
Yeah.
Because there's never any expectation of the other 3 guys being anything more than fuzzy props in the band.
Yeah.
Right? So I've never been in a band like that. It's always been democracies. It's always been, collaboration, and that can be really frustrating. So I think that anyone who's in a situation like that eventually wants to see what it's like.
Yeah.
To call the shots on everything, which means the scheduling, how everything sounds, how everything looks. And then you run into problems like I am right now, where like when you don't have anyone telling you what to do, sometimes you don't do anything.
Yeah.
Or you
have that 35-minute song where like, we can't get rid of any of this, man.
I've gotten rid of 3 albums worth of material already just because I'm too hard on myself. And
Well, I guess that's the thing. So I mean, you don't even have anyone like just completely outside just going, hey, dude, like listen to this.
No, because that's part of the thrill of this too. Is I have.
Are there rules to this? You know what I mean? Like, are there?
I have no manager. I think
there's a YouTube video.
I have no anybody involved with this except for myself, like literally nobody, and it's really scary, but it's finally leading me down a road where like I'm making a stand. This is what it's going to sound like, and I know most people are not going to like it. And I'm okay with it. Because some of my favorite records are quirky things that most people hate.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I can make a record that a tiny portion of people really love and they get inspired and they go make albums, like they want to make music, that's what I want to do.
Well, it's interesting too, like the different reasons people get into music, right? Because I've talked to bands where they've had the opportunity to, like, say newer bands, they have the opportunity to open up for like bigger bands, and they're like, you know what, I don't want to go play in front of 2,000 people that are there to see the other band. I'd rather go play in front of 50 people that are into what I'm doing, you know. And it's kind of counterintuitive, but it kind of makes sense. Like, you're like, that kind of makes more sense.
Well, I've had it both ways. My first band, like, you know, we started off playing in front of nobody, worked our way up to, like, we were always too scared to headline on a tour, so we were always main support for these bigger, at the time it was like Chevelle and, you know, like new metal bands.
Yeah.
And then the Limousines happened a different way, where I already had momentum coming from that, and it was Aaron that, you know, Live on 5, I don't know if I'm on.
Yeah.
So it was him, and then the guy from Channel 92.3 and the guy from Alt Nation. All three started playing this song that they downloaded off of MySpace. It was just a demo that we put up.
Yeah.
And it started blowing up, and so our like third or fourth show was BFD.
Yeah.
Of, you know, 4,000 people that were singing along with their song.
Yeah.
So it goes both ways, and I'm lucky enough to have experienced, like, I don't think I've ever been famous. I don't think I've ever been necessarily successful, but I've definitely experienced the fringe of it.
Yeah.
Enough to I want to write a book about it, to be honest. Like,
yeah.
The major label record deal that was huge, good money in 2003, and then 2010 an indie deal, and then 2013 a Kickstarter thing that was more money than the indie. Like, we've done everything.
Yeah, I remember the Kickstarter thing. That seemed like a lot of work, dude.
It is. It's.
I was like, damn.
I think I'm still waiting for a record from that.
No, they're all good. I think they should do everything out.
No. He's like,
but I never got more updates from a band, man. I mean, it goes crazy.
Yeah, it was great.
Shipping vinyl, dude. Oh God, like, the profit you get off of selling a record, I guess, is pretty decent, but
shipping it's going to be really.
A lot of people like to collect records, and a lot of people like to collect records off of porches because they're very easily identifiable. Right. You're walking down the street and you see what's obviously a record on someone's porch, and you grab it.
Yeah.
Records get stolen off the porch all the time. They melt on people's porches.
They get cracked.
Well, cracking's harder to do now because they don't crack as easily as they used to, but still, like, the process of fulfilling, you know, going from being a band, an artist, to a customer service representative.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing when you do something directly to the fans like that.
Yeah.
You are a customer service at that point, and it's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, I remember going like, dang, man.
The, like, happy email, like, hey, you're awesome, and I say, thanks, man. Way better than, fuck you, I never got my record.
Yeah,
right.
And then because then your fans are all angry. They're like, you promised me a.
And no matter what you do, you try your hardest, and you just,
yeah, like, dude, man,
it's happening. You know?
Yeah, interesting. Well, I'm excited to hear your solo stuff, man.
Thanks,
yeah, and that one thing I'll say is I've watched Eric kind of progress through this, and your last show was it was absolutely phenomenal. He had I feel like you're identifying a sound area that you really want to go into, and I think it's really interesting.
Yeah, I've always been a fan, and I remember that Kickstarter thing. I remember he put up one of his guitars, like the guitar that he recorded some record on, and it was only like $400. And I'm like, man, I really want that guitar. And like, I kept going back and forth, and like, I don't play guitar, so like in order for me to like go spend money on a guitar, like I got to kind of talk to my wife. I'm like, check out this guitar, like how cool would that be to have? We could put it on the wall, and like, and she's just like, what? Like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, just support him some, But I remember, and I was kind of tripping out on that. I'm like, but I also thought it was kind of cool because I think in the head of a music fan, right? Like, you're kind of like you think like someone's guitar, especially to a musician, is kind of like it's an extension of them.
Yeah.
And so I was really surprised to see that on the Kickstarter. But then in a way, I thought it was kind of cool because it was like, this guy doesn't give a shit. Like, he's not like the material shit, like whatever. Like, like it's not about, I don't know. I mean, I could be totally off, but I thought
some things I'm really attached to, but
yeah.
I mean, I don't play guitar very often. I'm not that's not like my thing.
Yeah.
So I'm not super attached to that guitar.
Yeah.
You have another one that one of my favorite birthdays my whole life. Like, all my friends pulled together and bought me a Jaguar that I always wanted.
Yeah.
And even though I've never, I play it, but I'm not great.
Yeah.
Like that's one of my prized possessions because of the story behind it.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's something I would never like sign and put on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
You know?
He's like, this is just a spare guitar, dude, that I just hated.
But it
Like,
was, I really actually did like that guitar a lot, but when you're doing a Kickstarter, you really think like, well, what are all the things we can do for people? Like one of them was like, I don't know, guest list for life. And then you're hoping, because you're optimistic at the time, you're hoping you're going to be playing shows for 20 more years.
Yeah.
That'll make sense.
Yeah.
And as bad as I feel about like some things not working out for people, guest list for life for $2,000 and you only got to see us once so far, that sucks. But I do hear from other people that like the whole point of a Kickstarter is they want to help the band.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, yeah.
And my apology, I've written tons of apology emails to people, and a lot of them are replied with like, dude, don't sweat it.
Yeah.
I don't care. I would have been happy just giving you the money because I want to see you guys make the record you wanted to make without a label,
And I also think too, like with the Kickstarter thing, it's one of those things where like, yeah, let's just help these dudes out. And then like if you end up becoming Radiohead, it's like, yeah, dude, I want my goddamn fucking guest list for life.
Exactly.
That's when you pull it out.
Yeah. And I hope that someday I can,
dude,
put someone on the guest list of the show 5-10 years from now.
15 years from now, some guy's gonna pull up some like printing like, hey bro, you make security. Get out of here. Get this guy out of here, man.
Where's my linebacker?
Yeah. I remember in 2013.
Whose life?
That's awesome, man.
Well, anyway, thank you for coming on our awesome podcast.
It was fun.
And we are Vomiting Rainbows. And I actually, since we've been going back and forth between that and all of our social media is We Vomit Rainbows.
Yeah.
So I also got the domain We Vomit Rainbows. So we can be Vomiting Rainbows and We Vomit Rainbows. We're synonymous. They're two of the same things that we do.
I thought it was kind of cool to have a podcast with like 5 different names.
Yeah.
We didn't even really know what it was called. Like We Vomit Rainbows, Doug and Mike Vomit Rainbows, Vomiting
Rainbows. All the time. It'd be like the official blah, 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 or blah, blah, blah band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do us a favor, follow us, and especially rate us, because that's the only way we go up in any sort of podcast in the iTunes world. And that's it.
Do we need to start a click farm for that or something? Like how does that happen?
We could probably try and figure out. We could probably figure out how to do that too, but we haven't done that yet.
Got it. Cool.